would you do if your spouse came home and said, I don't love you anymore, I'm not sure I ever did, I'm moving out? It happened to our next guest, but it's how she reacted that changed everything.
I'm Laura Munson, and I'm a writer. I'm in my 40s. I graduated from college in 1988, where I met my husband. We wanted the rural life, so we moved to Montana, where we've been for 17 years. What we thought has been a great life all along, until about 2 years ago when we had a marital crisis. He came in one day and said, I think I'm done. I think I want to move out. I'm not sure if I love you anymore. I'm not sure if I ever did. And I looked at him and I said, I don't buy it. I knew this man, and I believed in us. So I knew it was my job to get out of his way. And if he was going to come back to me as an equal partner, then that had to be something that he chose. You can't make somebody love you.
And Laura Munson wrote a column about her experience for the New York Times. Elizabeth and I were just talking about it because it really caught our attention last summer, and she got such an overwhelming response that it shut down the website. She's now out with her memoir, This Is Not the Story You Think It Is, and she joins us now. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me, George.
It really was an unforgettable article because of your reaction. Your husband comes home and says, I don't love you anymore. I'm not sure I ever did. And you described it as a sucker punch from a speeding fist, yet you stood right in there.
Well, I believed in this man, and I knew this man. We'd been together for 20 years, and I really saw this as a crisis of his own self. But I knew that if he was going to get through it, my job was to get out of his way.
So you said to get out of his way, but I remember when I first read it, I thought, wait a second, maybe you're a little delusional. Maybe it really is about you and the marriage, and he really does want out.
Right. Well, I believed in us, and what's more powerful than functioning on instinct and gut reaction? And we live in such a reactionary society. What about practicing a little bit of patience? I had my standards. I wasn't going to put up with his behavior forever. But I believed in us. Ultimately, though, this is not a strategy about staying together. It's a philosophy about taking care of yourself during a crisis.
And this was a real crisis, but you did decide to stick in there, and you laid out how you were going to handle it. As you said, you set a time limit. But in the meantime, you had to deal with, you had superhuman patience. You said your husband stopped coming home. When he was home, he was distant. You said on your birthday, he didn't even wish you happy birthday.
When we got married, part of our wedding vows were from Rainer Maria Rilke's essay that talks about being guardians of each other's solitude. So we've always been independent creatures, and we've always felt that distance is a normal part of every relationship. So that part felt easy enough and fluid enough within the construct of our relationship in the first place. We also live in a beautiful part of the country, so it meant for him a lot of fishing, a lot of getting out in nature, and a lot of working through his stuff in nature.
What did you tell your kids?
Well, we're not teaching them myths. We're not dealing in myths in our family. So we told them the truth. Adults have hard times just like kids, and it doesn't need to take you down. And I think ultimately the message that they're going to go into their adulthood with is that you can be powerful even in crisis. So
you believed you were powerful. That's the lesson you were teaching your kids. But did you ever feel like you were a pushover?
Oh, of course. Well, a pushover? Well, I don't know. I felt that, you know, all of the things you'd think I would think were going through my head. But after 20 years of not having my novels published, I had already been working hard at not engaging the drama in my life because it doesn't serve us. When we react to the drama, it just doesn't get us anywhere. So I was really working with the present moment. What can I create in this moment? What can I control? What can I own? And then I had to let go of the rest.
And when did you start to see signs that he was coming back, your marriage was coming back?
Well, his sister was sick during that time, and he went to live with her, and it really helped set his head straight as to what matters in life. And I think he realized that relationships are what really mattered to him. And he started to come back around, and it was great. But again, this wasn't a strategy to have that result. It was, if that was a byproduct of the philosophy that I was working with, then that was great.
But it did work. You're together.
We are together. Yep.
And your story has resonated with so many people. What do you think that everyone can learn from it?
Well, that you don't have to be taken down by crisis, and that you can be powerful even when you feel powerless. And it's a simple choice.
Okay, the book is called This Is Not the Story You Think It Is. Laura Munson is the author. You can read an excerpt of the book on our website at abcnews.com. Thank you for sharing your story with us.
Thank you, George.